Jacksonville Jaguars fans, welcome into Duval Daily, presented by GenJag.com. I'm Jordan DeLuca. Thanks so much for being here. Tuesday, September 2nd. Right now, we are getting into a full offensive preview for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Hopefully, it's not offensive, but this is all about the Jaguars offense here in 2025. And we've been talking about this offense all offseason, right? But right now, it's time, game week one. We don't have a game to recap early in the week this week. So we're doing kind of big holistic, talks about the Jaguars as a whole in 2025 over the next couple days. Thursday, we will start to really preview and get into the nitty gritty of Jaguars versus Panthers, that week one matchup. It's going to be a big matchup for sure. Did our record predictions earlier today. Right now, we're going to look at the offense. Tomorrow, we're going to look at the defense and special teams. But the Jags offense is in a really, I would say, unique spot. For the first time ever, it feels like the Jaguars actually have an offensive innovator. Now, I think you would have said that as well in 2022. For sure. And in 2022, it felt like Doug Peterson, while he wasn't innovative necessarily as the Jaguars head coach and offensive play caller in his first season, he was hitting a lot of playing a lot of the hits of modern football that allowed Trevor Lawrence and this Jaguars offense to find some success in 2022. I mean, that was one of the best scoring teams in franchise history. And it felt like they were moving in the right direction. However, they took steps backwards in 2023 from a play calling standpoint. What do I mean by that? Their ability to force teams out of stacked boxes just completely diminished because of injuries, because of play calling, lack of motion, lack of play action, lack of execution in the screen game and in the run game. A team that was dreadful when it came to drops. But from a coaching standpoint, I just don't think you were doing anything to help your players. You were saying, this is our playbook. The players need to execute it. And it was the same playbook from 2017. Nothing changed. Doug Peterson did not. Actually, it got worse after 2022. In 2022, there was more motion. There was more shallow crosses, more mesh. These things that become easy button ways to execute your offense. There was more of that in 2022. It left, quite frankly, in 2023 and was completely gone in 2024. Execution went along with it. It was bad. But Liam Cohen comes in, and it feels like, remains to be seen, but it feels like this is an offense that is going to be among the league leaders in motion, in misdirection, in being able to tendency break. Right? We've shown you this from this formation. Now we're going to flip it on its head. And we're going to do it this way, that way, a third way, a fourth way, a fifth way, right? They have the ability to keep defenses off balance. They also have quick hitting throws. Time to throw is going to be good. They have easy button plays. Tampa Bay, last year, watching an offense, I've never seen a Jaguars offense come close to having so many wide open rushing lanes, so many wide open receivers where it's not like the receiver put on an insane double move to create separation or space. It's just naturally, the way the play is designed, it exploits the defense's numbers and rules and somebody pops open. Not by doing anything special on their own, but just by the virtue of the play call. And so I think that's what Liam Cohen brings on a basic level. Beyond that, I think he brings, the ability to really adjust to his personnel. I mean, you saw with the injuries at receiver last year in Tampa, they were able to focus. They made Cade Otton a primary receiver for a few games, tight end who, in my opinion, is not even as talented as Britton Strange. I think Britton Strange is a better player, but you saw what Liam Cohen could do for a player like Cade Otton, and I think Britton Strange is an upgrade from a talent perspective there. So he brings a lot. And then you bring over Grant Udinski as your offensive coordinator, who has not been an offensive coordinator before. Liam Cohen hasn't been a head coach before. So you have a lot of people in positions throughout the organization, but on the offense as well, that they have not been in before. But Liam Cohen has been an offensive play caller. He's been doing that for a while, both at Kentucky with Tampa, was an offensive coordinator with the Rams. He was not the primary play caller. Of course, that was Sean McVay, but he has been around a lot of good offenses. He's called plays for a lot of good offenses. So Liam Cohen, I think that he brings the innovation, the ability to adjust and finer attention to detail. And I think Grant Udinski certainly is going to bring that as well, coming from that Kevin O'Connell, Sean McVay tree. They're very detail oriented, and they're very focused with their time. The way they coach Trevor Lawrence with the footwork, being married to the route concepts, to the reads. I really strongly believe in this group of offensive coaches, and they have a laundry list of quality coaches under Liam Cohen, who is the head coach and offensive play caller, and Grant Udinski, who is the offensive coordinator. But those are the two most important pieces, and I think that they have a really strong foundation on offense. And, Trevor Lawrence, quarterback, taking a big step forward after 2024, which is a season in which, even when he was healthy, there was just a little bit too much variance in his play. And do I blame him for that? Partially. Do I blame the lack of talent around him for that? Partially. Do I blame the offensive infrastructure, coaching for that? Partially. Do I blame a lack of the ability for the defense to do anything? Partially. Yeah, it was all bad last year in Jacksonville, outside of Brian Thomas Jr., and even Brian Thomas Jr. had some variance in his play. We've talked about that a good bit. So I think Trevor Lawrence being able to take that next step, taking care of the football and being a playmaker in this offense with his big-time receivers, Brian Thomas Jr., Travis Hunter, you have De'Ami Brown, you have Tim Patrick, you have Parker Washington, Brenton Strange as a receiver, Travis Etienne as a receiver. I think that it's time to take that big step and be able to complete a season, keep yourself healthy, offensive line help keep you healthy, coaching help keep you healthy, and finish the year out, have a big year. That's what Trevor Lawrence needs to do. And I don't think he needs to do anything crazy in order to achieve that goal, because in this offense, it's going to give you answers. It's going to give you easy button throws. It's going to do a lot of work for you. All Trevor Lawrence has to do is make the right reads, utilize the answers that Liam Cohen and this offense gives him, and give the ball to his playmakers, right? That's all he's got to do. And occasionally he'll have to step up and make a big play himself physically. And I think he has plenty of capability to do that. So that's what needs to happen with the passing game, Trevor Lawrence and his receivers. Offensive line, I think it's going to be better for a number of reasons. I think coaching is one big aspect of it. I think that they will be better coached, whether that be from their offensive line coach, whether that be from just the offensive scheme. You've already seen it. Like, they were able to open up some big holes, first team, second team, third team, throughout the preseason, more so than you've seen with the Jaguars in recent years. I think that the running game is just going to be better coordinated and better coached. You've also got new pieces on the interior at center and right guard, and these are younger players, and Patrick McCary at right guard and Robert Hainsey at center than what you had here before. You had Brandon Sheriff gutting it out in the twilight of his career, Mitch Morrison in the twilight of his career. Both of those guys retired after the season. You have younger guys that are still veterans. Patrick McCary is a veteran. Robert Hainsey is a veteran, and Robert Hainsey voted a team captain. I think you have guys that will strain. Ezra Cleveland, I think, showed that. I know we've seen that from McCary and Hainsey in their previous stops, play through the whistle. And then you talk about the offensive tackles. They've been trying to push those guys, Walker Little and Anton Harrison, and I think they have pushed them in a pretty good way. And I expect them to be a top half of the league offensive tackle duo, and I think that's going to be more than enough within this offensive infrastructure for things to go pretty well, to go pretty smoothly for this offense. And we're going to continue talking about this offense, but first, Underdog is the best place to make picks and win money all season long. Football is back. Thursday night, the season gets kicked off. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. I've already talked to y'all a little bit about Cowboys and Eagles. I'm looking at all the Saquon Barkley stuff. I really like Jalen Hurts, higher or lower than half a rushing or receiving touchdown. This guy usually finds the end zone with his legs. Tush push, ever heard of it? Yeah, I'm going Jalen Hurts higher than half a rushing or receiving touchdown. I'm guessing it's going to be rushing, but either way, you're good to go. Download the app, sign up with promo code Duval Daily to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code Duval Daily. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next? Must be 18 plus, 90 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona and Massachusetts and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS _.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 HOPE line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. Shout out to Underdog Fantasy. So, I'm feeling pretty good about the offensive line. Now, where do I have a potential question? I think the interior of the offensive line could have issues with dominant interior defensive linemen. I think that most weeks they will be good enough to get the job done, and I think that even against dominant interior defensive linemen, they will have the coaching and the protection plans and schemes and rules to get things done. But I think there could be weeks where you see a Patrick McCary give up 5 pressures to Justin Simmons or Chris Jones or something like that, right? That's what I would be concerned with a little bit. Ezra Cleveland too. I mean, he's not like a all-pro type player either, or even really top half starting guard. But I think that they're good enough and well coached enough. Offensive tackle wise, I think it would just be about consistency for both of these guys. Anton Harrison and Walker Little, I think they both have the talent to be very good. It's just about staying focused, especially on that right side with Anton Harrison. I think running backs, you have all sorts of answers there. Tank Bigsby is a tough, explosive runner. Travis Etienne, excellent in space, very slippery, good receiving back out of the backfield. Bashal Tutin is my guy. I'm ready to see this guy on the field. I think he has kind of the full complement of everything you need in a modern back in this league. The low center of gravity, the extreme long speed, the quickness and contact balance, vision, and leg drive. I'm really excited to see Bashal Tutin. You've also got Lee Quint Allen, who is an excellent passing down back and also a tough runner. So I think they've got everything they need in the running back room right now. I don't think they have like a star yet. I think Bashal Tutin could be that, but they don't have like that true RB1 bell cow. I don't think they really need it. Tight end, very good group. Very, very high on Britton Strange. I think Hunter Long and Johnny Munt in this type of scheme where you're going to see 12 personnel, where you're going to see tight ends being asked to block and then being maybe like check down options or last resort options, or even options where you've got the defense so focused on Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter and Britton Strange, whoever else. One of these tight ends, Johnny Munt, Hunter Long, kind of slips out unnoticed and is able to pick up a chunk play, things like that. And I think they're going to be very good blockers for them. So I'm excited to see that group for sure. The biggest question for me, can this offense as a whole get out of its own way for the most part? Penalties pre-snap, unforced errors, drops, fumbles, missed assignments. If they can limit that type of stuff, the type of stuff that's in their own control, and then be mentally strong to rebound after mistakes like that do happen, they will be a top 10 offense, in my opinion. They have the coaching. They have the talent. That's all you need. If you are able to, again, be mentally strong, be mentally tough, and be smart, you are a top 10 offense in Jacksonville because the coaching and talent's there. I do have some predictions. Again, I think they will be a top 10 overall offense. I do. I feel very confident in Trevor Lawrence. I always have. I feel very confident in Liam Cohen. I think that Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas Jr. are going to be one of the best duos at receiver in the NFL for a very long time. Undeniable talents. Brian Thomas Jr. has all the speed, length in the world, quickness, fluidity, playmaking skills at all three levels. Travis Hunter has playmaking skills at all three levels, right? So top 10 overall offense. And speaking of Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas Jr., I think they are very close in receptions and targets. I think Travis Hunter could potentially be the Jaguars' leading target getter at receiver. I also think it could be BTJ. I think these guys are going to be neck and neck. I think Brian Thomas Jr., however, is going to have a lot more yards. Travis Hunter is going to have a much lower average depth of target because they are going to get him the ball close to the line of scrimmage, playmaking opportunities, get the ball in his hands a lot more. And Brian Thomas Jr. is going to be utilized more as that like true X receiver, and they're not going to just stick him out there at X and not allow him to move around the formation. I'm not saying that at all, but he will be utilized more like a true X receiver. And Travis Hunter will be utilized more like a playmaker. Just get him the ball, right? So I'm not going to go out on that limb and say for sure I think Travis Hunter will have more catches than Brian Thomas Jr., but I think it will be very close. I think touchdowns could be close, although I would definitely lean BTJ. And I just think Hunter will be that guy that gets those 5, 6, 7 yard, 10-yard plays where they just get him the ball quickly and ask him to play make. And I think he'll be utilized down the field as well. He needs to be. But Brian Thomas Jr., I expect to have a higher average depth of target and more touchdown catches than Travis Hunter, but I think Travis will be very close in catches. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to break 30 touchdowns. And I'm not going to go out and say I think he's going to do it all passing. I think he will have over 30 touchdowns passing and rushing this year, though. That's less than 2 touchdowns a game. It's not like really that high of a bar to clear on a 17-game schedule. I think that he'll be able to do it in Liam Cohen's offense. I would not be surprised to see 40. I would not be surprised to see 35, but I will go ahead and say 30, and I think 30 would be enough for Jags fans to look up and say, wow, we actually got somebody here that we can get excited about. And I know a lot of fans already are excited about Trevor Lawrence. I've been on the Trevor Lawrence bandwagon for a very long time, and I think it's well-deserved. I think he's going to be able to silence the critics this year. If he goes out and has a good season but the Jaguars don't make the playoffs, or the critics quieted, silenced, I don't know. I think he will have a good season for the Jaguars. Travis Etienne gets paid after the season, but not by the Jaguars. Look, they have too much invested at the running back position, in my opinion, to go pay Travis Etienne. But I think the point of this is I think he has a good year. I think he has a very productive year. I think he leads the Jaguars running back room in touches because I think that he is a more reliable pass catcher, and I think that he has just more reliable hands in general than Tank Bigsby. I think Bigsby will have the most rushes, especially early on. I think Etienne will get paid to be a starter somewhere this offseason coming up after 2025, but it won't be with the Jaguars. And I can't wait to see Bashal Tutin as well. I just think that they're going to ease him into a role because they think they really do have something with the veterans and Travis Etienne and Tank Bigsby. Finally, maybe the biggest prediction, I think this is the best scoring offense and scoring output in team history. 2017 was the highest scoring team in Jaguars history. I think the 2025 Jaguars will eclipse the scoring mark for the Jaguars in a single season. I don't expect them to be dropping 30 points every single game, but I think they'll have some 30-point games. I think that they will have very few games where they're not able to have a respectable offensive performance overall. I just think Liam Cohen, combined with this group of talent and the rest of the coaching staff on offense, is going to be too good for this offense to have a bunch of stinkers. I don't think they'll be able to be kept down for an entire game by an opposing defense. So that's where we're at. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. This is your Jaguars offensive preview as we're losing some focus issues here with the camera. Sorry about that, y'all. But that's your Jaguars offensive preview for 2025. We will do defense tomorrow. We also have, Jaguars getting back out on the practice field. You have your first real injury report tomorrow of the 2025 season. Jaguars, Panthers, week 1 at the bank, Everbank Stadium, 1 p.m. this Sunday. Can't wait for it. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. If you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. You can also check out genjag.com/shop. Pick up some new Duval gear like the hat I'm wearing right now. Y'all have a good one.